If you have a business that doesn't make money, you have a hobby.
Right.
If you have a business that doesn't make profit, you have a nonprofit.
Right.
Now, unless you sign up to be a 501c3, that don't make no sense.
Right.
So you need to make money and no profit.
It's important to see the relationship between attention and intention. So when I give my intention to something, my attention will be there and vice versa.
What's that line? Someday my prince will come?
Yeah.
Lies. He ain't coming. Right, it's lies.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we're conditioned and trained from childhood to stay on that triangle of victims, villains, and heroes. And you always look at yourself like a victim. Something happened to you because of the villains. And now you need a hero to come save you.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming to save you.
Right.
You have to take your own life into your own hands to be accountable.
Yeah. Out of entrepreneurs today, I think a big pain point for some of them is funding, right? So you think about raising capital, getting a loan, talking to family and friends, but we all know that the best funding in the world is revenue, right? Because I don't have to pay that back. So if I can figure out revenue, I've got the greatest funding source ever, right? So tell me a little bit about what do you do to help someone with this? Now, did you know 90% of businesses never get to $1 million? And so many of them never actually make it into the latter years, 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Well, there's a reason, and we're gonna talk deeply about one of the most critical things that you must know and understand if you do not want your business to fail. I am so excited today that I have a special guest in studio with me, Mr. Craig Cooper, and let me tell you a little bit about him. I'm so excited that he's here. Now, I want you to understand this. First and foremost, Craig, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Are you excited to be here yourself?
I'm quite.
You're quite, okay, quite excited. All right. You all are in for a treat, but let me tell you a little bit about Craig. So first and foremost, you know, this is someone that is just a creative mind. I love hearing his story, his journey. You're going to learn more about that. But when you think about the creative mind and you think about business itself, it takes so much to actually be able to create something from nothing. You're starting from an idea and getting it to something that people want to pay you for. Now, he is currently the founder and CEO of Common Sense Revenue. And you are going to hear some insights that come from a journey that is so, you know, when you think about what it takes, like down deep inside to succeed in business, you're going to hear a lot of things that were earned that now he's given to others. Now, this is the former chief waffle engineer and the food evangelist of Pink's Catering. Now, I say former because he's so focused on things, but he really still is doing that today as well. But I don't want to say much more. Let's give a warm welcome to Craig Cooper. It's so good to have you on the show. So good to have you. So I just want to just jump in because there's so many people out there that are entrepreneurs. Some of them been an entrepreneur, some are just getting started, and we're gonna give them some help today. And I know we're gonna unpack some things that's in your mind. But before we do, let's get to know Craig Cooper. Now, I am Bay Area born and raised. I was actually born at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland. And so you have some connections also being born and raised in the Bay Area. Tell us a little bit about Craig Cooper before we get into business.
Okay, a little bit about Craig Cooper.
Yes.
All right, born and raised, city of Oakland, technically. My father came from the South, Jim Crow South, escaped from Louisiana, ended up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And my mother is a product of South Central, true story. Oh yeah. Now, she's not gonna confirm it. We all believe she has affiliation with the Watts riots.
Is that right?
That's all I'm allowed to say, because she's still nice with the hands.
Right.
So the two of them.
You know about that from experience?
Man, I'm very nice. My defense is incredible. So I will say that. Additionally, now father came from the South, and with his father being a Baptist minister, a lot of common sense sayings, and father wasn't one, you know, put hands on you as much as he was lecture, which is why I have this accent. I had a lot to learn. Mother, on the other hand, she had a lot to say about what is right and what's fair. Even though she came from South Central, she went to school up here at Mills College, very impacted by things that were going on in the movement around the early 70s.
Yeah.
She's also affiliated with the I'll go ahead and say with the Panthers. The party.
Absolutely.
And so doing right by people and justice is always something that's part of how.
Well, that whole movement started out of Oakland, right? With Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, everything came. And what's interesting is even in business, there's a fight, a sense of fight you have to have. So, you know, having some of those ingredients and going through some of those things can actually help you because there's so much opposition in business.
so much opposition. You need that resilience in order to be able to fight, recognize, and not succumb to it, right? The resilience is necessary. And from both parents, those ingredients helped form me to be able to withstand.
Yeah.
There was also a lot that was important about education, what's important about learning. Your ignorance is somebody else's strength. You have to make your own decisions and be accountable for it. Before I got to the first grade, I was very versed in the Nuremberg trials. Now, mind you, right? The Nuremberg trials.
Wow.
Why do you know about Nazis? It's 1970 something.
Right.
I won't say how far back it is, exposing my age, it's kind of embarrassing. But the point of the story is, well, I didn't know about the Nuremberg trials. But ultimately, just had the excuse of I was following someone else. Never worked in the household. If you're gonna make a decision, you're gonna do this, you better understand why, because you're accountable for your actions, right? All that was important. And all these things helped shape and form the mindset that I had to make me, to help me with entrepreneurship later in life.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, and happen to know your parents and respect them highly. And I didn't know some of those backstories though, so I really like getting to know more about that. And you're someone that I not only respect as a professional, a leader, an entrepreneur, but also as a friend. I've known you for a long time, and one thing that people may not know about you, but you are a fascinating piano player and musician. And, as someone who, I started playing the piano, I don't know, about 10, 12 years ago or so, just trying to learn. You're someone I've always looked up to in terms of your talent, and to understand, the creative process and so much that is involved in music, because music is a system. It's part art, it's part math, it's science. Yeah. So tell me a little about your musician background, because I think it could be highly related to how you think and how you unpack things. Tell us a little bit about the music, how you got into it, and what it did for you, what the relationship you have had with it.
That's something that's very dear to my heart when we speak about music. So the music, I was introduced to it at the tender age of 5. Right?
Really?
With parents, we moved into our first house, place we live now, right? And they bought a piano. And because, full disclosure, I'm a bit on the spectrum. I have some issues.
That's okay. I think we all are.
Well, I appreciate it. I go ahead and say it and put it on the table.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm different. But one of the things the mother would always say, music soothes the savage beast. Right? And so with the piano, that was just part of the emotional regulation. And so it became my first language to learn how to express myself, because I wasn't able to use the words to express myself. Later, it became awesome in understanding how to improve my reading comprehension, because I had reading, right? And then the systems. But it was really my first piano teacher was so amazing. I wish I could remember her name. We would sit down at the piano at meals in the music school, and she would have me turn around by ear, develop my ear to the point where I could hear the difference between a major second and a minor third and a perfect fifth. And so she worked on my ear as well as just reading music, right?
So she was actually hitting those different, chords and notes and getting your ear trained to hear the distinctions in the tones.
Right.
Really?
So she spent that time.
How old were you then?
I was still 5.
Really?
So I didn't know.
Wow.
She'd turn around, what is it? Third, major third, minor. And I was getting to the point where I could identify things well, didn't know I was sharpening the ear. But later it helped, because when the lights went on, playing music, and understand, are we going up in the deep end of the pool?
Oh, go.
All right, so I was in the pool. So by 2010, I had an experience where I was driving, and I was, sun coming over the hill, sun comes through the windshield, and then all of a sudden it felt like music unlocked for me. And even though I had taken music, it was really my minor in college, I was really studying to really understand, and I was learning Western music and what all these various things you had to memorize were.
Right.
But it didn't connect. But as I came over that hill, the sun came through the window, boom, everything unlocked, and the numbers, just, man.
Wait. Did you say 2010?
Yeah.
No. I heard you doing some things in the 90s that was unbelievable. No. What do you mean it just unlocked in 2010? I mean, where were you where were you before then? I mean, I've seen some, fascinating. I still have recordings you don't know that I have that of your work. And so you're telling me it unlocked. This is amazing, because this is so, and I know some of you listening, you might not think we're talking about business, but this is related, because so many people mistake knowledge and learning for mastery. Like, mastery takes time.
Yes.
And it takes time to unlock something, even in business, even things that you think you know. It amazes me the time you have to be willing to put in to get into higher levels of mastery. But I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead, 2010. Tell me more about this.
Well, okay, I'll put 2010 on the show.
Okay.
What you just said gave me a thought to have to share.
Oh, yeah, please.
Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks.
Right.
But the man that studied one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's that repetition where you learn the nuances and subtleties of it. It transcends. So there was a degree of understanding of music I had. Yes, I could see, and my hand speed, back in the day, I had hands.
Yeah.
But you get old, things change. You have to adapt your game.
Yeah.
I mean, early Michael Jordan's career, he used to fly.
Right.
Later in his career, he had a very
He's
nice
in the post.
turnaround.
Yeah,
in the post,
yeah.
you didn't want that problem because you have to grow and evolve. As you grow and evolve in music, oh man, music is awesome. You never get there. The more you learn, the more you recognize you have to learn because it's infinite. Because music comes from an infinite source.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
Music comes from an infinite source.
Yeah.
So you never stop learning and developing and growing and implementing.
Right.
But the more you do, the more you qualify for more. But then once it unlocked for me at that point, 2010, it unlocked and I was able to see that no matter what I did, 88 keys on the keyboard, so many black keys, so many white keys, 3 pedals and all the strings, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's just 12 notes.
Right.
It was a simplicity. I almost had that, again, the Bruce Lee moment.
Yeah.
There's no way his way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
His foot's there, just step on it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do all this stuff. So anyway, that's
Exactly. The Jeet Kune Do, the being able to intercept the movement of someone else
Yes.
and do what is necessary for the moment, not
Yes.
getting stuck in the systems, but learning the systems to not have to depend on them.
Yes.
Right? So that's the freedom, right? So and let's fast forward this because I'll get lost on where you're at right now because I just want to glean more from your knowledge and love music theory, love learning. But let's fast forward this a little bit to, the day that you and your wife ended up moving into an entrepreneurial journey that you maybe didn't see coming. It started off as something that was maybe something just doing from the heart, and it turned into something that was a real legitimate, business opportunity. Give a little backstory there.
So the backstory on that one. My wife and I love food. I mean, just the experience. Literally the first date, she cost me $150. And that was for lunch.
That was for lunch.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
That was lunch. So yeah, we had to have a second date. But the point of the story is,
for sure.
we love food. And after we're married, we would go to restaurants and try food we want to share with folks. But just because it's something about the communal experience, everybody around the table. And I think about my grandmother, go to grandma's house, it's always something amazing. It's just something about that fellowship type stuff. It's great. And so we'd have friends over, you need to start a restaurant, oh, you're silly, you got a good job. That's what it was. Until we had an amazing brunch, at which we had sweet potato pie stuffed in a waffle.
Yeah.
Topped with vanilla ice cream and some salted bourbon caramel
Unique.
sauce.
See, that's unique, yeah.
We had the farmer's market frittata. We had the buttermilk biscuits. We had the applewood smoked bacon with the maple glaze. It was a situation.
Yeah, that's a situation.
20 people in the house. And, many of them fell asleep after the brunch.
Yeah.
But the 5 of them that had not fell asleep,
Right.
they were around the piano and said, I'm sick of y'all. You need to start something, blah, blah, blah. One of our friends was on the board of a nonprofit that put on the San Francisco Street Food Festival. And he said, if you don't enter the contest, I'm going to enter you. So we said, fine, whatever. They're not going to vote for us, all these food trucks, right?
Right.
We entered the contest. Won the contest.
Wow.
So we got a free booth. And so life got real quick. We had scrambled to become a legitimate business.
Yeah.
Go to all the trainings. And that first Saturday, selling that waffle to the public, we moved 2,000 units.
Wow.
$10,000 in a day. At which point I told my wife, and I quote, we about to quit. She said, no, but within 3 months, on 11/11/11, she quit her job at Twitter, went full time.
Wow.
I quit my job 3/15/12, full time.
Yeah.
And it was just all upward trajectory from there.
Yeah, let me say something about that. And first, let me give a shout out to your wife, Pinky. I just want to say, she's not here right now, but I have so much respect for her as what she does with food. And I mean, just a very, someone who really puts their all into the kitchen and how things are supposed to be done and cares about how the food, tastes and the experience that people get from every flavor. And so shout out to Pinky and great respect for her and what she's doing today, still with Pinks. But I just want to say for a minute, what you just touched on is so important, Craig, because so many people don't understand the person you need to become inside to really be an entrepreneur. So there's a decision you have to make to truly jump into it with both feet. See, some people are interested in entrepreneurship, but not committed to entrepreneurship. So they play with entrepreneurship, but they're really not all in. And when you're all in, something happens because you start to, it's different when you know your livelihood depends on what happens with this business versus something you're playing with on the side that you hope works out. So tell me a little bit about that internal struggle for an entrepreneur who is wondering and kind of in that double dutch moment of, do I jump in or not? Because I understand this is all or nothing.
That is so critical, so pivotal, right? You have to make the decision, right? If you don't make the decision to commit to actually do it, you will be stuck forever inside hustle mentality. The entrepreneur versus the entrepreneur. You want to do it, but you don't want to do it, right? And again, another Bruce Lee quote, you have to be careful about the words you say over yourself because your body doesn't know the difference.
Right.
That's why they call it spelling. So if you think you can't,
that's right,
you won't. If you think you can, you will. So anything you say about what you're doing, you have to believe it and say with that type of belief. You have to commit because you can. And I was fortunate in that before the entrepreneurial journey, I'd been in commercial sales for a long period of time. And the only thing I had was a territory. And the owner said, this is your territory, go get $10,000 in profit.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm selling a box of paper clips for 6 cents. That's a lot of work, but we made it happen. And so recognizing that there's an ability that's there, if you have something somebody wants, something that answers their needs, it's a fair exchange.
Right.
And you can do it. Right?
Yeah.
We had that festival out of nowhere. We won the contest, which is wild. We moved 2,000 units the first day, which is wild. And the organizers told us we had done better than people that had been in the contest or been at the festival for the past 3 years.
Right.
So we had all the signs saying, do it, do it, do it. Why would we then put our own sales prevention department in place?
Right.
Drive with the e-brake on, not going nowhere. That don't make no sense. So if you're gonna do it, do it.
Right.
And give it your all.
Yeah, I love that. And, similar to what you were talking about with the Bruce Lee quote, it's important to see the relationship between attention and intention. So when I give my intention to something, my attention will be there and vice versa. And the reason that's important, some people think like the secret, if you speak words into the universe, things are gonna come and be brought to you in a fruit basket. But really the issue is when you start to speak about things and you start giving your attention to what you're speaking about, it's the fact that you're taking actions toward what you're speaking. It's the fact that your mindset is going there, which causes you to start doing things. And that's why it appears that because you said it happened, but really it is because you're saying it, you're focusing on it, which means you're doing things about it, which is really what's leading to the result.
100%.
Yeah, so when you think about that journey, and let's fast forward to the business, just to let everyone know, because we got to jump into some things and unpack some things here. The business is wildly successful. Seeing the, pinks in, very large organizations from Genentech to the Warriors to so many more organizations. You got to the point where you actually could step away and realize that, hey, this is something that is operating, because most people don't realize there's the thinking of how a business is to operate, but the ultimate goal is to work yourself out of the business, right?
Yes.
Unless you want to do it. Like, for example, some people I know, even with Pinky today, she doesn't have to do all the cooking anymore. She's put systems in place, but she's overseeing something that she loves. And now you on the sales and the business side and seeing a business grow. Tell me about now how you've been able to pull from that journey and now turn it into something where you can help others. That's
the part where I feel most fortunate and the most thankful, right? Because ultimately entrepreneurs are all sold the same line. You should start a business so you can have your own time, do what you want. Exactly. Yeah. That response right there.
Yes.
Somebody knows. It's lies.
Yeah. All lies. Yeah.
True. Said by people that don't know.
Right.
But until you get the business to the point where it's not completely dependent upon you. You're not his lifeblood. That's a different thing. And then you have the freedom, which is really the goal.
Right.
And now you traded your time and money. Now you have the freedom. I now have the opportunity to help others that are stuck. And the reason why it's like the mission for me now.
Right.
When we first got into catering, we didn't go to culinary school. we didn't go to business school for this, right? Again, I mentioned father's lectures and so many of my decisions.
Yeah.
I can hear them. If it don't make money, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
Don't worry that the horse is blind, load the wagon. Just all these random sayings come up. And I say them and it makes sense to the team. So I just stay on the foundation. It works out. But all that happened, but we were fortunate. And then with the kitchen, the folks that were in our shared kitchen taught us so much about kitchen operations, which is why we're successful. And we became friends with them. We wanted their business to survive.
Right.
Flu apocalypse of 2020 happens, many of them go out of business. It's not fair. They went to culinary school. They did the stages. They did everything you're supposed to do.
Right.
Wish I could have helped. So anything I can do now with what I've learned, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, helping others.
Yeah.
Because that, as you mentioned, the journey, entrepreneur, side hustle, that's great. I have 2 clients now I'm working with. And the first thing we looked at is, okay, what's your pricing structure look like? Are you paying yourself?
Right.
And are you setting aside enough money, not just to pay yourself, everyone associated with that job? Because one's a photographer. If you're not paying for the gaffer and the writer and the photographer, and you're not charging for that, how will you ever make enough money to pay yourself so you can leave a job? Right? It's those type of conversations they don't think about. But having somebody on the outside have that conversation with them changes everything.
Yeah, so then what you're moving into now is the common sense revenue, where now you're trying to help people generate money, generate sales, and run a business that actually one day can operate without them. So when you say common sense revenue, before we go into some of the key elements of that, why did you name it common sense revenue? Tell us what's behind this name.
Okay, the common sense again is homage to my father, right?
Okay.
You're not gonna what's the line? You're not a genius, but you're gonna have a master's in common sense. Right. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
And when you're making decisions, and then we all know common sense isn't as common now, right? But when you actually employ it or use it, you appear to be a genius.
Right.
And I kind of work with the business, right? So utilizing that is huge. That's why the common sense piece. The revenue piece was intentional. And that's because most businesses have always operated through history, course of time. There's been marketing and sales.
Right.
2 different silos operating with 2 separate KPI and measurements to make sure that the president and stockholders are happy with what we've done.
Right.
But they have one job, to generate revenue. And they often work against one another. Until recently, like in the last, 8 years or so, there's been a movement to have a chief revenue officer under whom or under which both marketing and sales come under.
Right.
So the revenue was about how does your company get money? Common sense to get your money.
Right. Okay, I got it. The common sense things you need to do to get your money. That's very, very plain. So then let's something that I know is near and dear to you is sales. And when I think about the equation that sales plus strategy equals sales strategy, and when you think about marketing and sales, I like to define marketing as it is really the art and the science of developing a desire in people to want to know more about your product and service.
Absolutely.
Whereas with sales, I'm trying to overcome any resistance that will cause someone to actually buy the product. Like they're actually gonna, I have to overcome something in them to get them to actually persuade them in a, convincing is trying to get you to get something for my purposes. Whereas true persuasion is actually telling you about something you're interested in and letting you know it's available, which is very different.
Right.
So when you think about this in the way you define some of these things, let's unpack sales strategy. When you hear that, what does that mean? Because when you talk about revenue, if someone doesn't have a sales strategy, there's just no way. Like, people will say, I hate sales, and it's all lies, right? Because you bought something, you bought the clothes you got on, the car you drove. Like, what you really is, you hate people who tried to convince you into getting something you didn't want, and you remember the bad experiences more than you do the good ones. We actually love to be sold to if it's something that we are interested in, because we want someone to tell us the thing that we're already looking for. So tell me about sales strategy. What does this mean to you, and how do you use this to help people?
Okay, that's a lot.
I know. Just unpack it. I know I threw a lot at you.
Okay, no, we're going to work with the sales strategy, how to use it to help people. And I like to start with where you said, a little bit, backing up a little bit.
Okay.
And I use it all the time. let's start with the truth. Everybody hates salespeople. But when we say salespeople, what are we saying?
Right.
Salespeople are those, I have a friend, I think you might know him too. They have commission breath. Every time they're speaking to you, all they're concerned about is how you can give them money.
Yeah.
And that's what's so offensive. You walk into a store, can I help you? No.
Right.
That's what we all say.
Exactly.
We don't like salespeople.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing.
Right.
And the reason why the salespeople are ineffective is because the tactics that they use, right? Strategy is the overall big picture. The tactics are all the various different moves that you use, like military stuff, but we'll talk about that later.
Right.
But the tactics are often or they're not employed properly. And that's what causes people to be turned off.
Right.
What you said is 100% correct. People need stuff. And when we need stuff, I want somebody to explain to me why this is the best thing for me.
Right.
That is the persuasion that you're speaking of. Help me cross this bridge of me, I don't know and I don't have, to I have it and I'm happy to have it.
Right.
That is what sales is, ultimately, right? And for me, it's solutions-based. So you can be a sales consultant, you can be a sales professional, but please do not be a salesperson. Salespeople have commission breath and they use bad tactics. Wolf of Wall Street, selling this pen. I don't want your pen. I don't want that pen.
Right.
Why you need that pen?
Right.
Why you want me to sell that pen?
Right.
Miss me.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. It's making my skin crawl. But it's very important for the sales piece because ultimately when you have a business, if you have a business, you cannot, what am I looking to say? If you don't make money,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. Oh, I apologize, my alarm's going off.
Oh, that's okay. It's the life of an entrepreneur.
Well, you know what, Lord?
Yeah, this is real. Yeah.
Life be life. Okay, so what we're saying is, if you have a business that doesn't make money, you have a hobby.
Right.
If you have a business that doesn't make profit, you have a nonprofit.
Right.
Now, unless you sign up to be a 501c3, that don't make no sense.
Right.
So you need to make money and or profit. So you need, as you said, put your intention and attention.
Yeah.
Apply to physics, a body in motion stays in motion until your body is your business. You are the greater force. You make it happen or it doesn't, right?
Right.
So all that's true. So the sales piece itself, customers have needs. Is your solution, product, or service the only one that meets their need?
Right.
And I'm about to go off the reservation, but it's going to make sense in a minute.
Okay.
And you don't have to, please, for the love of God, don't sell on price. It's not about
Right.
price. It never has been.
Never has
right?
been. Yeah.
If you remember nothing else from this conversation, please remember, broke folks go to Disneyland. I'm gonna say it again. Broke folks go to Disneyland.
Explain.
In the entire history of my life, almost double nickel, Disneyland prices have never gone down. They always go up.
Right.
And yet people are always there,
Right.
including but not limited to broke people.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not about price. If somebody wants it, they'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
Why? Because Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. They have a unique experience that people want to invest in.
Yeah.
So your job as an entrepreneur, find out how you can be Disneyland and make sure you deliver that experience.
Yeah.
So broke folks find you.
Yeah, I have to just jump in on this a little bit because it's so true where even in all your major cities, all your major sports teams, the majority of people in those arenas are people that are low income and struggling.
All day.
And they'll say, we won, like we're doing good. We just got so-and-so that's on the team now, like it's theirs, right? They feel like it's theirs because, and that's really when you think about a brand and you define it as a story that people will pay to be a part of, you know, like it is a story that compels me enough. Whether it's Apple, whether it's Nike, whether it's LeBron James, whether it's Disneyland, whether it's Mickey Mouse, whatever it is, it's a story I would pay to be a part of.
That's what
right?
it is.
So if the experience means enough to me, the money doesn't matter, like you're saying. And that's why so many people, I was talking with some people the other day and said, you know, how many people have bought things that they couldn't afford? And everyone raised their hand, because we all do. It's not the money, it's how bad do you want it?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And ultimately the conversation isn't about the price. It's about the investment. And we're trading one of three things: time, money, or knowledge. We're always trading one of those three things. And you eat your money you don't have, maybe, time you don't want to spend, knowledge you need to get. It's one of the above. And when somebody's investing in your solution, service, product, they're investing in that experience. I'm part of the team.
Right.
This is me. I'm now associated with this brand. Tiffany, it's the same rocks out the same earth. Just because it's in a cute little robin's egg blue box, people will spend money. That don't make, what I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's real.
But the brand then determines the price.
Right.
Or the value spectrum, as I call it. Spirit Airlines on one side, Emirates is on the other.
Right.
Planes fly.
Yeah.
But I promise you, there is not one frequent flyer on Emirates is also flying Spirit.
Right.
Nor anybody on Spirit that wants to fly. You pay for what you value,
Yeah.
right? And so as an entrepreneur, you recognize, I'm still getting off that side hustle thing,
Yeah.
you recognize what it is you provide, what is that value really worth? Plant your flag and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not your customer.
Right.
Your niche is your niche, your customers will pay for it when they value it. You just have to prove you're worth it.
Yeah, and I often tell entrepreneurs, there's so much talk about the power of yes, but I like to talk about the power of no. Because when you say no is when everything begins. Like, who don't you want to serve? Who isn't the product for? That's when you get strategic. That's when you start to get focused. And when you talk about, everything that you're mentioning now, when you think about a lot of entrepreneurs today, I think a big pain point for some of them is funding, right? So you think about raising capital, getting a loan, talking to family and friends, but we all know that the best funding in the world is revenue, right? Because I don't have to pay that back. So if I can figure out revenue, I've got the greatest funding source ever, right? So do you find in your whole, focus on helping entrepreneurs, how much do you try to target them in on sales activity, becoming a better sales strategist, or even the way that they approach their product and their pricing? Tell me a little bit about what do you do to help someone with this?
That's huge. I love that part because there's so many schools of thought as it relates to sales. And because of that, you don't always look at your sales strategy in a way that's going to be sustainable for you and your business, right? There's the one-to-many model. There's the point of sale model. There is the relationship model, software as a service model, all the above, right? I prefer to work with customers that can have relationships, right? So they're typically in the servicepreneur space.
Okay.
And they could be food caterers, trades, yada, yada, all kinds. As long as they have a service they can provide.
Right.
Because with the services, you can develop relationships with your clients. And I'm still going somewhere with that question. When you have that opportunity to develop relationships, the sales model you want to focus on you have to acquire customers. Yes, you have to always get new customers.
Right.
But when you can have a relationship, here comes Father, a bird in hand's worth two in bush.
Nice.
Right? And it's even better when that bird in hand is a goose that lays golden eggs, right?
Yeah.
So you have a relationship with the client, you maximize that relationship for a long period of time, they do better for you, as opposed to constantly chasing two. I mean, even history itself taught us that the countries that grew fastest, the colonizing countries, they were farming countries.
Yeah.
They stayed put, developed what they had.
That's right.
And that provided them an opportunity to grow and expand technology, yada, yada. How much more so in business, right? You have clients, maximize those opportunities and relationships. So for me, in my framework, I look at retention first.
Okay.
You have clients, how do you maximize that relationship? The top 20% of your clients is going to equal the top 80% of your customers. The revenue, top line revenue.
Right.
And even within that, when you dig a little bit deeper, you'll find opportunities because all 20% aren't ordering all the time. So if you really stabilize that, I had an employee I was speaking with last month. She was worried about hitting her sales numbers.
Okay.
True story. Her sales goal is $175,000 a month. That's her bogey.
Right.
She was sitting at 108 2 weeks in, but she was really concerned, I can tell by what she was saying. And we looked at, okay, let me give you the cheat code to make sure you always hit your numbers. So I want the cheat code. I wish somebody gave me the cheat code too. But anyway, had her run a report.
Yeah.
12-month rolling. For the past 12 months, all of your accounts are spent. And from top to bottom, from top spender to lower spender, she has 80 total clients. Of those 80 clients, that equaled $108,000. We looked at the top 20, 16 accounts, $97,000 of the 108 was in our top 20.
Right.
But it gets better. Only 5 of those 16 had ordered. But I'm gonna point it out. So only 5 of these ordered, right? So that means it's an average of $19,000 each. If you got each one of your customers to order in this group, just 11 more, spend 19, how much are you making a month? She would have made $300,000.
Right.
And your goal is 175. At which point she said, yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you focus on the top 20, retention, that's what the real growth is. There are the 3 metrics I'm always talking about, and that is number of customers, average spend, and order frequency. If you get those 3 to increase, you increase those by 15%. You increase your revenue by 50%.
Right.
If you increase them by 30%, you double your revenue. Those three, and the secret's in the top 20. I'm nerding out. I did mention I was on the spectrum, right?
No, this is great. This is good stuff. I know people appreciate this. This is great.
But those numbers, it becomes so simple.
Yeah.
Because it's a mystery. You're looking, all your customers are important. True. But there's a different degree of attention you give each one. And I learned this when I was working at, where was I? Pacific Bell. We had the global clients, we had priority clients, we had signature clients, and we had value clients. Each one had different revenue or had different groups assigned to them and how much support they got. Signature had a certain amount of people that were assigned to it. Priority had a certain number of people assigned to it. But as customers grew, they got moved to get more attention because they were worth more to the company.
Right.
So how much more so for my catering company? Same thing. How much more for your company, whatever your company is? Focus on the ones that make the most money for you and keep them.
Right.
Because when I say keep them, old sales managers came back in my head. Don't touch your customers' bases. Nobody wants their bases touched, especially after Me Too. Call with a reason that's going to benefit them. Email, phone, a newsletter, text, something that's of value to them. Once a week, each one's different, you remain top of mind. You're top of mind, your tip of tongue, they order from you when they ever need. The number one reason why you lose an account, they forget about you, lack of contact.
Right.
So stay in contact.
Yeah.
Oh, I so apologize, his phone won't stop ringing.
Oh, no, you highly sought after. You got people want to follow up with you about how to get this common sense revenue. But when you say that though, when you focus on that, core group that you're going to have more retention and loyalty with, what are you saying about the other ones though? You're just for people who might be listening and saying, "Whoa, what is he saying? Forget about everybody else."
No,
what do you say to that?
Oh, no. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
Retention is retention.
Right.
So the top 20% get the most attention. The middle 60, they get half as much attention. So you touch them twice a month. Again, the top 20% you touch once a week. The middle 60, you touch every other week, twice a month.
Right.
The bottom 20, you touch once a month. And the reason why, it's even if you have conversations with them, they're slower to order, they order in smaller quantities. But your time is valuable, you can't get time back.
Right.
So the time you invest, when you invest more time with the ones that spend more money, you get more money. Meanwhile, you can spend one with the top 20, it's not as impactful. Or you spend one with the top 20, it's more impactful than with the bottom 20.
Right.
So you spend it where it makes the most time.
Well, and it's interesting what you're saying because so many people would look at that in reverse and say the people who are not spending time, I should spend more time with them. And the people who are doing more, right? And it's just like the old saying, if you want to get anything done, give it to someone who's busy.
There you
and
go.
it's because the person who's busy has figured out how to get things done. And it seems like you wouldn't give it to them, but the person who is most willing to buy from you is someone who's already bought from you, right?
Message.
So this is kind of the principle you're building around. Is that right?
It's exactly it.
Okay.
Exactly.
So then let me just to make sure for people who will see this, who is your ideal customer? Who is the ideal customer that is just, when they fall into that boat, it's like the perfect person for you to give them the most value from what you provide?
Great question. My ideal customer is the entrepreneur that's on their journey. They could be a side hustler all the way up to a micro enterprise. And when I say side hustler, they haven't fully committed yet. Oh, I want to talk with you.
Right.
We need to have some words.
Yes.
It'll be nice. We need to have words. So that person, all the way to the micro enterprise, is doing less than $5 million.
Okay.
All the above we can help. And I like to liken it to this. Most of those business owners get into the business and essentially they're on the field or in the field, but you're the owner.
Right.
My job is to get you into the owner's box. Now it's a process. First get you off the field, touching the ball every play, to the sideline where you can be a head coach, but eventually you still need to place yourself there and be in the owner's box. You should not be involved in the day-to-day.
Right.
That's the goal.
Now, okay, perfect. So then that person who is now the ideal person, briefly, quickly, just give a high-level view of your framework. You have a framework, from what I understand, that is trying to help people get in that owner's box.
Yes.
What is the framework?
Great question. So we alluded to it earlier when we talked about the sales and marketing strategy, sales strategy. I call it Get Real.
Okay.
G is the groundwork. We do all the fundamental stuff you need to understand to run your business. Ideal client, your unique value proposition. How are you the only? Don't be the best. Lord, I'm sorry, I can't help. When I say best, I get triggered. When you're the best, you're comparing yourself to everybody else.
Right.
Now you're a commodity. If you're a commodity, you're chicken. Don't be chicken. Everybody chicken. Chicken don't taste like nothing.
Right.
You got to be better than chicken.
Right.
That's all I ask. So I'm sorry. Yeah, we talk about that. So that's the G, the groundwork.
Yeah.
The E is the engineering. And that's we work on your tech deck and your automations and everything that's going to make your life easier. Especially now with AI on the scene, man. You can do so much and get so much help. Like, don't be afraid of the bots. You can train. Wait, where's the camera? Which camera we at? Don't be afraid of the bots. The bots are your friends. So engineering and then software, CRM, the whole gamut, because this makes your life so much better. And then training. Training gets to not only you as an owner, because everything we're talking about is getting out of your comfort zone. And there's going to be a lot of resistance.
Right.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. It's called turbulence. Nobody likes it, but it's necessary. You can't grow in your comfort zone. I've never seen a goldfish outgrow its bowl being in the exact same bowl.
Right.
And that's your brain. So I want to get you in a bigger bowl to allow you to grow to your full potential, right? So that's the GET, the get. Now the real is the sales strategy.
All right.
Retention, engagement, acquisition, and loyalty. Because ultimately when you have loyalty, your clients are working for you. They're bringing people to you, making your life better. Retention, we talked about that. Engagement, you have to be engaged with your clients on a different level now. Social media has changed the game. Flu apocalypse changed the game. When somebody can sit at home in their pajamas and buy a car, change the game.
Yeah.
And so you need to adjust your game too.
Right.
You can no longer play basketball like it was in the 90s. You have to adjust because Steph done changed it.
Yeah, he did.
Things are different, right? But the same in sales, right? And then acquisition, you have to always be acquiring new clients because attrition. You're going to lose 8%, but through no fault of your own. Right? Things happen. So if you're not replacing what you might lose, you got a leak in your boat.
Right.
You got to close the leak.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Wow, I love it. That is outstanding. And this is the framework you hold to teach and build around in terms of how you get them from where they are to the goal of being more owner-minded and seeing their business begin to generate enough revenue to free them up.
Yes.
So that is outstanding. So I want to say this. First, this has just been a pleasure. We're going to have to do this again sometime. I want to just, for people who want to contact you and they're like, hey, he's talking the talk that I need to hear. He's providing the thing that I'm stuck at right now. How do people contact you? Where should they go? Tell a little bit of people about how to work with you if they're interested in working with you.
Excellent. And I would far be it from me to deny people the opportunity to work with me if they so choose.
Right.
Well, the best way to contact me is Common Sense Revenue.
Okay.
So my website, www.commonsenserevenue.com.
Okay.
I am Craig, traditional spelling, like Craigslist or like Friday, at commonsenserevenue.com. Look, I use that movie as well because Big Worm was an entrepreneur.
He was.
And he had multiple revenue streams.
He did.
He had the hairdresser.
I don't know how long he was going to have them, though.
I don't either. I'm just saying. And he had a management strategy because he put Smokey on Pip.
Yeah. See, what you're doing right now is using common things, making it fun, but it causes people to break the monotony and get their attention to then give them the thing that's of substance. So I want you to know, I see what you're doing there. No, that's good. So commonsenserevenue.com, that's where they can go.
Commonsenserevenue.com.
So give a final word to the entrepreneurs out there before we go. Those that will see this, when you think about everything you're doing now, how the world is changing, and people who are in this journey of entrepreneurship are thinking about getting into it, what's your final word?
Wow, final word. I was still thinking. Okay, so the final word for the entrepreneurs thinking about getting into the journey. I'm gonna go there. The school system to not prepare us to be entrepreneurs.
That's right. Yeah.
We were trained to be factory workers. We were trained to be military folks. Or if we didn't fit in, we were trained to be cogs in the prison industrial complex.
That's right. That's right.
And we were never taught how to be successful outside of the system, the parameter that was laid out for us. I call this the blue pill of the matrix. So you see what they want you to see.
Right.
But there are some of us who want more for ourselves. We want to build legacy, want to build wealth. You can't build wealth and legacy by following the rules of the game the way they want it, right? Think about McDonald's. McDonald's is named for the McDonald's brothers.
Right.
They got paid out, but Ray Kroc got the billions.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So make a business, sell it, blah, 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 cap your earnings. Why? you have to always ask why. I'm sorry, I'm going somewhere with this. So the big picture is entrepreneurship allows you the opportunity to create your own path.
Right.
And if you don't, you won't, right?
Yeah.
But you have to try. And you can't be afraid of failure, because failure is nothing more than just a step. Oh, I learned how not to do that.
Right.
And every time you get down, get back up, resilience. Well, a little bit of Rocky. I don't know what's relevant for this time. But it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get up. It's because that's real. But financial situations come. You're holding finance, customers. You might have a customer set a building on fire.
Right.
You might have a customer set a building on fire. All kind of random things will happen.
Yeah.
But you have a customer leave a vehicle on Angel Island. All kind of random. Man, we got stories.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, you don't stop, because eventually you have the opportunity, if you continue, to maybe not just change your life. What about your employees' lives?
Right.
We have people on our management team that would never have been managers or had the opportunity if not for us taking the lead.
Right.
So the only way change is going to happen in society, you got to change it. The
Yeah.
thing, what's that line? Someday my prince will come.
Yeah.
Lies. He ain't coming. Praise lies.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we're conditioned and trained from childhood to stay on that triangle of victims, villains, and heroes. And you always look at yourself like a victim. Something happened to you because of the villains. And now you need a hero to come save you.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming to save you.
Right.
You have to take your own life into your own hands and be accountable.
Yeah.
I guess we're back at the Nuremberg trial, right? You have to take your own life and be accountable for the decisions you make, the choices you make. And it's okay that it feels scary. It's supposed to, right? But don't be petrified by fear.
Right.
Don't stay where you are. Man, there's so much more on the outside. It kind of look like this on the other side when you take the red pill.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, that was well said. Thank you so much, Craig. I just think, you shared so much valuable information here. And I just want to say to all of you out there, and just lean into you all a minute, I hope you'll take what you heard here to heart. The things that we're talking about is the journey of one, but it can also be the same journey for many who decide to actually make the decision to be more than they are today. And every single day, we have to keep making that decision, because there's new obstacles, new trials, and that's the journey of entrepreneurship. That's the real deal. But the reality is there is a system, there is a method that is built on principles, and principles work no matter where you put them. So what we've been talking about in this episode are real principles. It doesn't matter what your business is doing and what it's confronted with. If you get back to those principles, you're gonna get the results that those principles were built to generate outcomes for. So when you take this and you think about it, if you are really on the edge about what to do and if you should take that next step, I hope this pushed you just a little bit further to realizing you can do it if you follow the right method, if you have the right knowledge. And today we've given you a little peek into that knowledge. And if you need more help having some common sense revenue, make sure and reach out to Craig. And all of you out there that are growing and fighting for entrepreneurship, and you're one of us, we welcome you. And we're so glad to be in this together with you. Don't quit, never give up. This is You Are a CEO. Until next time, God bless you.